Alrighty, so we're looking at our binomial probability. We've been given a situation by which we flipped a coin 30 times and we want to determine the probability that there are 15 heads. Now there are two ways to do this. We can do it, we really can't do it tech-free, but we can do it with the formula or we can do it with the calculator. So you've got Can someone explain what's going on in that equation? What is that? That is 30C 15. Where does that come from, the 1 on 2 to the power of 15? Where do I get that? The probability of success to the power of? The number of successes. And what about the second half? Probability of failure multiplied, or to the power of the number of failures. So I just get 1 over 2 to the power of 15 times 1 over 2 to the power of 15. Happy with that?
Yeah.
What does that C 30, 15 equal? What does that equal as a fraction? 30 factorial divided by?
15 factorial times
30 take 15 factorial times 15 factorial, correct? Okay, and we just have 1 over 2 to the power of 30, which is 30 factorial divided by 15 factorial, 15 factorial. Now I said we could do it two ways, tech active or tech free, but can we do that tech free? That's as far as we can get, correct? We can't do any more with that. Cool? Good? So, not for this example. So I want to show us how we can use it on our calculator. So we can shove that in, but that's a pretty cumbersome process. Instead, what I want us to do is go to menu, statistics, distribution, binomial, BPD, and I think you can figure out what we need to do. How many trials? 30. What's the probability of success? How many successes are we wanting? Oh, BPD. Sorry, did I say BPD?
Yeah.
Yeah. How we go? What we get? 0.144. Is that right? 14.4%. Do you want to look at me out? This is one of those things I've got to teach individually. So distribution. Oh, sorry. Oh. I forgot to mention, your default setting has probably got list as the top. You need to change that to variable. That should make it a bit easier. If you've done that, I want you to consider, now you have to change your mode. It's a similar process, but you don't want to use BPD, you want to use BCD. And I want you to answer me the probability that you get more than 20. 15 successes. 30 trials. 0.5 probabilities.
Why are you getting
.04.
There's a 15 point.
You have the large.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Now, for the second example, what am I asking here? What's that really saying? What am I saying here?
You get more than 20.
I want to know the probability of getting more than 20 heads, correct? We haven't got an equation for greater than, we've only got an equation for equal to. So how would I represent that? I'd have Px equals 21 plus Px equals 22 plus Px equals 23 plus dot dot dot, all the way up to what?
30.
30, correct? Who wants to do that? No one. Often you won't get given those questions. The only time you might get given this is you might get given the probability that x is greater than 1 or greater than or equal to. If it's greater than 1, how can I represent that? What's the sum of all the probabilities? 1, correct? So is greater than 1, could I represent that as 1 minus the probability? Let's make it greater than or equal to. Could I do that? Pretty easy, that one, correct? Good? Make sense? Not getting confidence.
Is that the Px is for sure one? Is that, isn't that, probability of 1/6?
Yeah, so it's saying what's the probability? So this here, girls, in this situation we've got the probability that we've got more than 20. So in this I'm saying, what's the probability I have more than or equal to 1 head? So at least 1 head.
Yeah.
So all that is saying is what's the probability of 100% minus the probability of getting no heads.
Yeah, okay.
Cool?
So what do we put in our calculator for them?
So I'm just explaining before we do the calculator stuff. Okay. Do we understand that that's what's going on?
Oh,
And it's a pain, and we've only got, in our formulas, we can only deal with equal to. The only time that one comes up a lot is, or in a tech-free situation, is when we've got to only do a couple of examples, like the one we just went through. So in this situation, I want to let B, C, D. So you should be at B, C, D.
how do you know when to use BCD and BP?
P is a singular point, C is culminating, so a whole bunch of points, or a combination of points if you want. Cool? So here we've got 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 20, so many points, we're not going to deal with that. So we go to B, C, D. What's our number of trials?
30.
30. What's our probability?
0.5.
0.5. What is our lower limit?
21.
21. What is our upper limit?
30.
30. Why is our lower limit 21, not 20?
It's not equal to 20.
Not including. Happy with that? So I want you to find that. What is that equal? Matt?
0.021.
0.021. Okay. What I want you to do now is find the probability. You have to find the same probability mathematically, but you must have lower bound You must have lower bound. So find me the same probability. You won't get the same probability. Here's a pro tip. You will get 0.979 as your probability. That's the probability we need with a lower bound of 0.
But you get
Hmm?
you get one.
What do you mean?
I got mine, so.
No, you got to change your upper bound. You have to change your upper bound. Some people have to change your upper bound. Your lower bound 0. Change your upper bound such that you get this value here. Now that value, how did I achieve that value? Well, that value is 1 1 minus 0.021. How'd you go? How'd you get it? Did anyone get it? How'd you get it?
That's to 20.
To 20?
Up about 20.
Good. So what have you done? When you've gone 0 to 20, what have you done?
I've used all the other probabilities.
And taken one away from that. So you have to be really familiar with your complementary probability concept, okay? The fact that we can go about problems two ways. We can either find the probability of that section, or we can find the probability of all the other sections and minus 1 from that. Or 1 minus that. Does that make sense? Cool. Sometimes you need to be very fluent with that. Most of the time it's nice and simple to show it with a calculator. We need to build some fluency with that, and hopefully we'll be all over that by the time we get there. I think I had question 1, 2.
1 and 2 yesterday.
1, 2 yesterday. I want us to do 3, 4, and 6. Oh no, not 6 yet. 3, 4, and 5. Not 6 yet. So 1 to 5.
What chapter is it?
8.2.